complain, right? We're alive and kicking.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I'm really enjoying the latest single, Transmute. It's got a nice vibe of, a little bit of grunge, a little bit of heavy metal. It's a nice mixture.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. So I'm glad that it comes across like that.
No, I love it. Yeah, it's right up my alley. How was it working with Kane Churko? Because he's worked with so many cool bands.
Yeah, Kane is a super awesome, talented person, and it was a really great experience working with him. So, that was my first experience working with a producer. Usually, I kind of just do everything on my own, and I wanted that challenge, So it turned out really, really good, and I like it, and hopefully, we can do some more work together. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you guys have anything else planned at the moment, or
we're
playing it by ear?
We're kind of playing it by ear. We're still, conversing about things and stuff. So, but yeah, hopefully it'll work out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your goals for Immerser? Are you hoping to eventually take it on the road when you have enough songs to, play to an audience?
Well, I mean, I have enough material released and stuff, but it's just a matter of, this is a solo act, so it's kind of
right.
It'd be I'd have to get a band together and stuff like that. So my main focus right now is just getting, writing music and getting it out there, as opposed to going on tour or anything like that. I'm not opposed to it. It's just at this point that's not in the cards.
Yeah. And it's like live music has just begun to come back. So
yeah, I'm really excited about it though. I mean, a few of my favorite bands I've been gonna go see soon. I went and saw Gemini Syndrome like recently.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna go see In This Moment in Denver.
Yeah, I was trying to read what it said, so that's In This Moment. Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see them in Denver in September. So some good things are happening. So it's really cool to experience live music again and see everybody being happy and smiling and not living in fear. Like
exactly. I know, it's like, it's kind of strange. I actually was talking to a friend, like we were watching Netflix, and when we see people not wearing masks on the show, it's kind of strange. We're like, wait, why aren't they wearing masks? And it's like, oh yeah, it's a it's a TV show.
Right, yeah.
It's gotten to that point where people not wearing masks, it seems strange,
Yeah, I think you kind of have to retrain your brain again to be normalized. But I mean, we all wear a mask whether we're wearing a physical one or not, though. So
that's a good point. It's very deep.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk to you about music and how you grew up with it. I'm always curious to know, like, what were albums that you kind of wore out during your youth? Like, what were you listening to constantly?
Oh man, so many. God, I guess all the Nirvana stuff, like In Utero and Nevermind and Incesticide, all the entire Nirvana catalog. Slayer, Divine Intervention, 9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine, The Downward Spiral, Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power, probably all of the Metallica catalog, all of the Megadeth stuff. I could go on and on and on. Like,
that's a good list.
Yeah, no, I mean, music's always been a huge part of my life. So, but yeah, those would probably be the ones that stand out the most in my mind from when I was younger. I mean, just your typical metal stuff, Sepultura and so.
Did you get to see any of those bands live in concert?
Yeah, I've been to a zillion shows in my life. When I was younger, my aunt, really cool lady, she used to take me to a lot of concerts and stuff and introduced me to all that. So, I've seen Metallica like 8 times. And this is all before the age of 18. I've seen Prince, David Bowie, Local H, Silverchair, freaking. I've been to like a couple Lollapaloozas. I've seen like the Ramones. I saw Soundgarden. I mean, yeah. So I've seen all
You
those
saw all the
bands.
good bands.
Yeah. I didn't get to see Nirvana though, so I was kind of bummed out about that. But I have seen the Foo Fighters multiple times, so you
So
know.
you got to see part of
Yeah,
Nirvana.
yeah, totally.
Wow, that's awesome. Like, what's the wildest thing that happened at a concert that you attended?
The wildest thing. Well, I don't know about the wild, the wildest thing. Some of the concerts from when I was younger, I can't quite remember because of my state of mind at that time. But I would say like, you know, wildest thing as a performance, on stage or I think there was a Metallica show I went to, and I think this was in San Jose, California, and it was like a New Year's Eve show maybe, and it was they did this thing where it was a part of the act, but like the lights like fell, and then like this big structure fell, and it was like there was like explosions and stuff, and people were like falling from the rafters, and like
Well,
everybody thought
wow.
like it was like, dude, there's like a really like an emergency, like the stage is falling apart and like exploding, and it was just part of the show.
Oh, it was?
And
Okay. I was like,
yeah,
did people
yeah, but that
panic
was
and start running?
yeah, it was crazy. Well, no, people. I don't think people started running. They were just kind of like, "What?" And then it was funny though because I saw them 2 nights in a row. Like I saw them like either the night before or after, so I knew what was going to happen. So it was kind of cool to see it and know, hey, this is just part of the show. Um, Something else cool, like I don't know if you'll find this cool, but I do from a guitar like standpoint. I saw Prince perform opening night at his own nightclub in Las Vegas, which
Oh,
was like
wow.
totally amazing experience, man. It's kind of a smaller club, and it was a real intimate setting. So to see someone like Prince in an intimate setting like that was like amazing. But he would, he'd be playing, and then like afterwards he would just take his guitar like off real quick and just throw it. I was like, what? Like when I first saw it, he just threw his guitar forward, boom, and then it just like dropped down. And there's like this gap, between the stage and then the audience. And I guess there was like a tech down there, like he must be down there just like ready to run around and catch Prince's guitar. So it was just kind of a weird thing, but just the shock. I was like, oh my God, like
No, no,
anyway.
I was like thinking like maybe he was throwing it in the audience, and I was
No,
like,
like
what if
yeah,
someone wasn't paying attention and it like hit them right in the head or something?
yeah, yeah. No, but those are some of the cool things I've seen. One time, I don't know, I saw Soundgarden, and this was like right before they broke up. They got back together later, but it was a weird performance. It was really dark one. Chris Cornell, I think they were like fighting or something, or he was
Hmm.
doing drugs or something, but he played like 90% of the show with his back to the audience. And I was like,
What?
that's just really lame, man. Like,
Oh,
yeah. So that was kind of a weird thing too. So those are some of my weird concert boring stories for you.
no, those are good. No, because I've never seen any of them live, so it's kind of interesting to hear,
Yeah.
what they were like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's another band that really influenced me was it's called Sponge. And
I've heard of them.
yeah, they're great band. And I saw them at the Red Devil Lounge in San Francisco a long time ago, and it was really cool because Vinny, who's the singer, he's one of my favorite singers. Like, it's totally awesome, super awesome. And I was the only. This is when they weren't as popular. They were kind of the sort of slowed down. But to me, it was still like seeing like this amazing, huge band. And I was the only one. I think I was like the only one there wearing a Sponge shirt, and it was like an original Sponge shirt from their first album. And I think he noticed that, and then after the show, like he kind of came over to the bar, and so I got to hang out with him and like sit with him and talk with him for like an hour, and he was like the coolest guy, man. He like signed everything I brought. I even gave him a demo
Oh,
of my band
wow.
at the time, and like it was just really cool. So I've always had respect for them, and anytime I get a chance to see them, I do. And he's always been really approachable. So that was another cool story.
Yeah, it's always amazing when they're down to earth, you know. There's
Yeah,
like some musicians you don't know whether or not they're going to live up to your thoughts of them in your head, you know.
yeah.
But then
I've
when they
had
actually turn out to be down to earth, it's always nice.
yeah, that's you would hope people are friendly and cool. I've had bad experiences too with people that kind of crushed my expectations of who
Yeah.
they were, but I'm not going to go into that because I
Yeah.
but yeah, I've been there. Yeah. So
No, those are awesome stories. Like, unfortunately, I kind of missed that era because I was born in the late 80s. So it's always cool to hear people talk about these bands that I enjoy listening to, but never got the chance to see them.
yeah, yeah. No, I've been going to shows my whole life, so I've seen quite a few,
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. And I want to ask you about your songwriting because I know that you like to write real lyrics, not superficial ones. So, where do you have like a special place you like to kind of work on your music, or is it kind of just wherever thoughts come to you, like spontaneously?
um by place, do you mean like a physical place, like
Yeah,
environment?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I've been in bands my whole life, and I was originally grew up in California in the Bay Area, and I guess all the music there was just written at home, I guess. But I'm inspired by water a lot, so
Mhm.
sometimes I'll go to the ocean or any kind of body of water. To me is just really
It's
inspirational
calming, you know? Yeah.
reason. Yeah, and I think water is also associated with emotion,
Hmm.
and it's also associated with the sacred feminine, so like, which is associated with the subconscious. So being around water kind of helps me like get into that place. um and then when I moved to Denver a few years ago, I think once again water, just trying to find, it's a little harder to find. There's not like this vast ocean I can just go to, but there's like down the street there's like a huge reservoir I can go to, things like that. But yeah, I don't have like a set place that I write. It's just usually wherever a guitar is, like I'll
Right.
figure it out. So yeah.
Have you ever had like a song idea come to you in like a weird place, like maybe a dream
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something like
definitely.
that?
Yeah, for sure. Like a melody will come to you in your dream, or sometimes movie soundtracks too. Like that's happened to me quite a few times where I'm listening to something or I'm watching a movie and I'm like, whoa, there's like this theme maybe or a little melody or a chord progression. And I'm like, man, that's really cool, and I'll kind of, take it and sort of change it around a little bit. But that's happened a few times. But yeah, I don't know where the inspiration really comes from. It is something where it just sort of comes to you. Like it's like I'm more of a conduit, I would say. Like it just kind of comes from the universe, and I just kind of
That's
channel
true.
it. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, you never know when inspiration will, come to you or find you.
Totally. Right.
Do you have any goals musically outside of the solo project? Like, would you ever want to do like you mentioned soundtracks? Would you ever want to write a theme song to a soundtrack or something like that?
Yeah, I would love to do a soundtrack. I mean, I've done stuff independently, like for college films and stuff. I've written music for, and um, I love doing anything creative with music. I even one time for about a year I just kind of lost my mind and like was sort of a recluse and like just had like I just took samples from like tons of like horror movies, like B kind of 1960s 70s sort of
Yeah.
weird horror movies. And I had a huge record collection, and like I would just go and I just created this whole like weird like an hour long album of just like crazy samples and like drum beats and stuff. And it's kind of cool, man. Like, so the urge to do stuff outside of your typical rock stuff is there. I've also produced some hip hop stuff. Not, I don't rap, but I've made like, I've made music for other artists. So yeah, totally. Like anything that has to do with music. And I feel like music is so visual, at least for me. Like it's, you hear it, but in my mind, like I can see it, like I associate colors with different albums too. And part of it's the artwork, right? Like you're going to associate black with the Black Album, or blue with Nevermind because of the cover's got the blue, but there's certain songs or albums that I can visually see what's going on. I love when artists do that. Like they really give you like the whole package, like in this moment, for example, like it's the whole deal. Like their music is incredible, but their visuals are really cool too. And it works really well. Nine Inch Nails is another one.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
No, I definitely agree. I like when bands put a lot of thought and into their vision,
Totally, yeah.
It makes it come across more authentic,
Yeah, and that's,
you can really connect to it.
Yeah, and as an artist, like that's kind of where I try to come from, is a place of authenticity. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. I don't really do surface very well. Like just, I music to me is super deep and important. It's like my soul. It's a part of who I am. It's the way that God like speaks to me. And so it's really hard for me to just write a like little ditty, or like
yeah.
And for me, like I'm not the best at writing like super happy stuff. Like my stuff always tends to come out a little dark or a little emotional, or there's something there. I mean there's always optimism in it most of the time. Sometimes there's not, but a lot of time there is. And but yeah, like I don't do superficial very well.
No sappy love songs.
No, I mean maybe in my own way, like but yeah, it's hard for me to write so directly, like but I do write love songs. It's like I said, it's just in my own way. It's usually kind of usually a veiled sort of thing, or so.
But nothing cheesy.
I don't think so. I mean, when I listen to it, it's not cheesy. I mean, somebody else might think so. I don't know, but yeah, because I'm kind of very like kind of picky about what I like and what I listen to. You know what I mean? So I think some of that kind of like gets into my songwriting. I'm like, like would I want to hear that if another band did it? Like but on the other hand, like a part of that for a lot of my life was very, I was very closed off, like, oh no, we can't do that and we have to do it this way. And like, but part of working with the producer, like they're able to kind of say, you know what, like let's do that, and you just kind of have to, put your ego and put your emotional attachment to things to the side and just let it happen. And I've been through that process. Like I was very happy, and like I learned some things, that it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, maybe they might pull something out of you that you didn't realize was there or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's a challenge, but it's exciting, and I look forward to doing more of that. So, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I think you mentioned you had a vinyl record collection. I just started recently collecting vinyl, and it seems to be coming back, because every time I go to the record stores around here, the crowd is younger and younger.
Yeah. Well, there's something to that, man. Like there's something really cool about having a tangible thing. You know what I mean? It's really special, and like I've always grown up with that. You buy the album and you can read the lyrics, and it's a physical thing. You feel like you have something, and I think it brings value to music too, and to the musicians, because like now I feel like musicians are very underappreciated. You know what I mean? Like when somebody streams your stuff like on Spotify, you get like a fraction of a cent. It's like, and I don't think
very impersonal in a way. Like you're not really connecting with the artist.
Yeah,
whereas you buy it, and it's like you have a part of that artist in a way. I know that sounds weird, but
No, it's not weird
it
at all. And
seems like
you
you're
know,
kind of connecting with their art, you know?
yeah, and it's if you're, you know, you can get really into it too, and like, yeah, it's a really immersive
Yeah,
experience, right?
that's a
Because you
good
can
way to
like,
put it.
yeah, because you can organize your record, you know, your albums, your records, your CDs, whatever, your tapes, whatever. You can put them in any way you want, alphabetical or by year or by artist, or like, you know, and it's conversational too. Like you used to be able to go to like you know, you still can, like there's some cool record stores in Denver and stuff, but like, you know, you used to be able to go to a record store and you'd be in like the metal, you know, like the metal section, and you'd be like looking at like deicide or something, and then like if you saw someone else looking at deicide, you're like, okay, you know, you're cool, and like you can make friends like that, or
Yeah.
there's just something to do, man. Like and the mystery of it too, like now you can just go online and type in whatever and hear like, oh, okay, that's what that whole thing sounds like, whereas before you didn't always have that opportunity. You would just be like, okay, like this cover of this album looks really cool. Like, I hope it sounds as cool as the cover looks. And 50% of the time it does, 50% of the time it doesn't. But, you know, I
That must be
had,
why the album covers were so, I don't know, something really stood out about them. Maybe that was them trying to attract people to buy it, you know?
well, yeah, probably. And it's also you as an artist, that's part of the fun too. Like when you release an album or release a song is the artwork that goes along with it. You know what I mean? Like, um, you know, and it's cool because, you know, records and stuff, they're kind of big, so you could display them too. You know what I mean? You could display like cool records and stuff. And I had like a killer record collection for a long time. Like, you know, I worked for a music store called Rasputin Records,
Ah,
and we would get a lot of used product and a lot of rare stuff. And like as an employee, you get first dibs on that. So I'd be like, oh, it's,
nice.
you
That's a
know,
good perk.
yeah, let's check the crates, and like you'd get, you know, I want this and I want this. So you basically your whole paycheck would just go right back to the company. But I mean, I found stuff like I had a White Zombie demo, like
Wow.
with the one sheet in it still, that was like, oh, White Zombie is this new band, and they're, you know, it's something they would send out to A&R people. I had a Nirvana, like a demo, Nirvana demo vinyl. I mean, it was nuts, man. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So anyway,
Do you still have your collection or did you get rid of it?
sadly, yeah, sadly, I didn't hold on to it. This was like years ago, and
Hmm.
having some struggles, and I needed some
But
money.
other people are enjoying it now.
Sure they are.
Well, what else can people look out for from Immerser or from you in the
Um,
next few months?
yeah, just more music, you know, just keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, more music. Hopefully, you know, maybe some collaborations I'd like to do in the future here with some really awesome people. So I'm kind of working on that behind the scenes. Um, you know, just music in general, just keep your ears open. I'm definitely going to be putting some more stuff out soon, and you know, there's a lot of great bands out there right now. Like Gemini Syndrome is an amazing band. They're on tour right now, and Violent Idols is also another really awesome group that you should keep your ears open for. And yeah, Immerser, you know, well, I'll be putting out some more stuff soon. So
Very cool. Yeah, I'm hoping that there will be more rock music festivals in the near future because there's, like you said, there's so many good rock bands out there. So they need to get the exposure, and it would be cool to see them all, you know, in one location.
yeah,
So
festivals are really cool. Yeah, I mean, you can really discover some things at festivals too. Like I always, when I used to go to a lot of festivals and stuff, there would usually be like multiple stages, you know,
oh yeah,
and it's always good to like, yeah, it's cool to see the main act on the main stage, but it's always cool to go support like the other bands that are playing on the maybe the third stage, you know, like you can find some really cool new music that way, you know what I mean? And they're more willing to engage with you too. So if you really want to meet a band, that's a good place to start.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to discover new music.
Yes.
Well, I really appreciate your time chatting with me.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate your time too, and I appreciate you you know, making an effort to give artists a platform to talk about their material and stuff. And thank you for all that you do.
oh, thank you. Yeah, it's my pleasure.